going on, everybody? Myth here. So today I got probably one of the most busted builds out right now. Um, Everyone's running it. I'm just gonna kind of show you guys the way I run it. Here are the front bar stats and back bar stats. We went 54 into Magicka, 10 into health. We are using the Astronaut Mundustone still just for extra recovery. And we are using Bewitched Sugar Skulls for the max stats. Now you can use Smoked Bear Haunch if you want for extra recovery, but you really don't need it with one of the skills we have. That's kind of why I went for max stats. You can also use Jewels of Misrule if you are trying to use Smoked Bear Haunch. It's probably the closest thing to Smoked Bear Haunch. It's not as good as you can see. It's a little bit off, but it's still pretty solid. Definitely a lot cheaper too than Smoked Bear Haunch. So yeah, those are the three food options right there. And I guess while we're here, we'll go over the potions. Tri-stat as always. And then Essence of Detect. I'm always going to preach this. Make sure you have Essence of Detect. You're going to wish, if you don't have them and you run to a Nightblade that keeps going invisible, you're going to wish you had them. Especially those annoying ones that kind of just go invisible, then pop out, do a bunch of damage, and go invisible. This is really important potion to have. This literally just negates pretty much any ganker, any Nightblade ganker. If you're able to see them coming, they've already lost. Because usually they're pretty squishy, so you just stun them and hit them up and probably die really quickly. Okay. What was I doing? So I went over this already. Yeah, okay, we'll go into the CP. So the CP you can run a little bit different. So we got Cleanse and Revival, obviously, because people are still running dot builds. Some people are running dot DKs. And even if they aren't, just this is good to have, if you have a bunch of negative effects on you, if you're 1vxing or 2vxing or outnumbered, or even a 1v1, when you go under 25% health and you heal, it removes all negative effects. It's pretty good. Now, Exploiter is a more aggressive approach. Obviously, this build relies or is based around setting your enemy off balance. So 10% extra damage for your whips is pretty good. The whips are already hitting pretty hard, so 10% extra damage is just going to make them hit even that much harder. If you don't want to go for the damage route, you could just put on Resilience here. So we got Ironclad and then Duelist Rebuff. For the red CP, you can also switch this up a bit. We have Survival Instincts, Pain's Refuge, Sustained by Suffering, and Boundless Vitality. So depending on your setup, if you go exactly how I'm doing it, I was running around with 28k health. This puts me at like just above 30. 28 still felt fine. So I mean, if you want extra armor, you could put extra armor, or if you just want the extra protection when you get stunned. Now I would take this off like how I have my bar set up right now. It's good to have that on, even though I don't have it on right now. I kind of just switched up, but I did have it on. I would take it off and put on this. So this is pretty much going to give you your major protection as long as you stand inside of it. So even if you get stunned, as long as you're standing inside of this circle, that CP is kind of useless. So put this on if you don't have that CP in, and if you have the CP in, then you don't need to run that because it's kind of like counterproductive. So the bar setup, you can kind of set it up like you can move some of these skills around. I'm just going to show you what I have on right now. Incinerate, Heart of Flame. Now we went with Heart of Flame because this is going to give you health back as well. And with this Acuity, crit, people are hitting really hard. This extra health, it's just passive. So this will help you stay off your back bar a little longer. It's pretty nice. Shattering Rocks, Flame Lash. Now this is our main ability, and we have Dragon Breath. This is our major breach. Now with this ability, pretty much what you want to do is you want to heavy attack into a stun, or heavy attack into I guess any stun would do. Or heavy attack into a leap, or heavy attack into corrosive and then stun them. You know, you want to just set them off balance, and this is going to do a ton of damage. And then for our ultimate, we're running corrosive. Now you can run Take Flight. I was running Take Flight before for that extra 10% damage after we do our leap. And I was running corrosive on the back bar, but it's up to you. You can run it however you want. Everyone's using corrosive right now, so I'd rather just run corrosive on my front bar and get that minor protection on my back bar. This is our coag right here. Shadow Spike Mantle. Now this is pretty nice. It's gonna give us stacks of landslide, which I didn't go over it in my other video, I forgot to, but landslide, pretty much every time you do damage, it's gonna give you stacks up to 10, I think. Yeah, up to 10, so you can get up to 10% damage. It's pretty nice. And then every 2 seconds you don't deal damage, you lose a stack. So as long as you're hitting them with at least, a light attack, or your dots are doing damage, this is pretty much 100% uptime. Every 5 seconds, obviously, you'll have 10% extra damage, so that's pretty nice. And then Resolving Vigor, obviously our staple. Igneous Weapons, this is like a mini Pyrobrand proc, and it's also our major brutality. So we were already running this on our other build. Even before update 49, we were using this. It's just our major brutality and sorcery, so this is just an extra nice little buff that we're getting extra damage out of this. And then Fleet Step Wings, this is good for, it's still good for 1v1. I don't really use it as much in 1v1. If I'm in open world and I just happen to have it on, then obviously I can't change my skills mid fight, but this is mainly for like open world or like BGs. Even sometimes in BGs, like I'll take off Shattering Rocks and I'll put Fleet Step Wings there. So like I'll do something like this, and on the back bar I will do Hearth and Home. Get that extra thing and have it slows him down. It's like a nice little snare. All right, and Moment of Truth, the gear. We got Acuity. Now, this is not going to come to a surprise to most of you, obviously. It's just really, it was super busted before the nerf, but it's still pretty good now, especially with the way, the DK, this build specifically, like you line stuff up. You kind of can just wait for your Acuity and then, heavy attack and then start whipping them, stun them, pop your corrosive or leap, and this is just a ton of damage at once. It's really hard to like stay alive against someone who's really good at setting it up. I was dueling all day in Stone Falls, and man, it took me a while before I could finally like learn how to use this build somewhat. I was dying a bunch, but anyways, front bar we want Nirnhone, offhand sharpened. I am using damage stamina poisons because, as you saw, my resistances aren't super low, but they are a little low. So what this is going to do is this is going to reduce their resistances by 1320, and then also give me 1320 for 2.5 seconds, almost 2.5 seconds. But it's also going to give them minor defile, and it's going to grant me minor vitality. So that's actually pretty huge. I was going to go enchants on these two, but I figured these poisons probably help me out even more. Defending, Rallying Cry, obviously ours our second set. This is going to help us with crit damage, and it's also going to give us a bunch of weapon spell damage. Like I said, this is almost a staple on every PvP build that's out right now. I know I recently made a build without Rallying Cry because I was just trying to do something a little different. It took me a while to like test things and try to get that set up. It's definitely off meta, the build, but still can hit pretty hard. So yeah, Rallying Cry back bar. Now we are running Bloodspawn. You can run whatever. You know, you can run Geralds, you can run Marsalok. Marsalok actually probably wouldn't be half bad because I think it procs off a heavy attack. So, you know, if you heavy attack into a whip, that'd probably be a nasty combo. You could use Balorg if you want extra damage. I use Bloodspawn just because this goes well with the DK so much. Like, it's literally just really good set. It's going to give you 13 ultimate, and it's going to increase your physical and spell resistance by almost 4,000 for 5 seconds. And this can happen every 5 seconds. Has a 6% chance to happen every 5 seconds, but when it does, it's nice. You know, you get free 13 ultimate and almost 4k extra resistances. So this is pretty nice. Like I said, we don't have too much. We're not super tanky on this build, but this will help us out, you know. Reinforced chest as always, and everything. Ooh, this should be impen. Everything should be impen besides the chest. This isn't impen either. Yeah, I gotta get that changed. Yeah, definitely gotta get that changed. Everything should be impen. Oh, this isn't impen either. Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to change that. Tri-stat on everything, and for the jewelry, we went infused. 2 weapon and spell damage infused, and we are running monomyth. Oh, so it's up here, sorry. So 3 infused, 1 infused flame resistance. Now, like I was saying before, or I don't know if I did mention it, but I would say Breton and Dark Elf are probably the 2 top races. Imperial is probably a close second. If you're running Dark Elf, you don't need to run flame resistance, so you could probably run triple and infused, just all weapon and spell damage. Or if you run it protective, that's up to you. But yeah, since we are on a Breton, I'm running that extra flame resist, and it's going to help us out because everybody is doing flame damage. So just having this extra flame resistance does help a lot, and it does go a long way. So we also are running, let's see, 1, 2, 3 light on this build, and what, 2 medium and 2 heavy. Now I would like to get this medium, so I'd like to run 3 medium, 1 heavy, but 3, 3, and 1. But you know, was kind of a little bit lazy, but heavy's not bad. You know, it's going to give us a little bit extra tankiness and stuff like that. But yeah, this is the way I run it. Like I said, it's probably going to be similar to a lot of other people, but I did try to infuse like a little bit more light into the build, so that way we could get some of the passives. I'll just go down right here. Here we go. Yeah, so it's going to reduce the snare effectiveness by 12% since we're running that like extra pieces of light. Reduces the cost of sprint by 9%. We're also going to get 12% magicka recovery, which is nice, and it's also going to reduce our magicka cost by 6%. So this is really good for sustain. And then we get that extra 2,178 spell resistance, which is nice because everyone is pretty much running Flame Lash. And then 659 weapon and spell crit rating, pretty good. And then this is our physical and spell penetration, so we'll get almost 3k from that. So that is the build. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll just have some clips for you guys to look at, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.